So today we are going to start our workshop on procrastination. All right. And actually, right off the bat, just let me first introduce ourselves again. So I'm Ahmed. I coordinate the academic writing center here at SAS. And I have today with me Vitaly, who is a student of SAS, and at the same time also he is a tutor in the academic writing center. So, and we prepared something for you actually for today. About procrastination, about time management, because we think that this is a common issue that everybody is actually encountering, whether they are studying or working. So I think that this topic, our topic for today, is just relevant for everybody. So I will be doing the first part of the presentation, the first part of the workshop, and then later Vitaly will take the lead, speaking with you about time management and some life hacks and very important questions regarding this topic. But actually, since this is a workshop, sort of, right? So we will have some exercises at the beginning. So the first exercise is that why are you procrastinating? If you are procrastinating, all right? So this assignment is so easy and also a little bit of fun. So it would be very nice if you could simply, let's take 6 minutes, 7 minutes, so that we create a list consisted of very short sentences about why you are procrastinating. The reason behind that. And let's use these sentences and start them with the pronoun I. So I procrastinate because of this and that. All right. For example, just simple example. I'm not prepared enough to perform the task. I need to do more background reading, conversation, thinking first. So this could be one of the reasons why you are procrastinating. And simply we are doing this exercise because we need to realize first the signs of why we procrastinate. Once we know that, we would articulate the reasons, and maybe later we will see, we don't know, we will see whether we can tackle them and solve these issues. So the exercise is clear? Excellent. So let's take 5 to 6 minutes and do that. Okay. All right. So I will be silent. I will also do this assignment. All right.
So hello. I wrote 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Should I just read them? Yes.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So let's start. And of course, if you would like to share them with us, of course you can.
Oh, okay. So I always procrastinate while doing my homework. I find lots of things which I would do instead of my real task. So it takes a huge amount of time to do something.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I can just sit in my bed and thinking about something I would do in my future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. Yes. Okay. Anybody else wants to share?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I've written 3 because in the last minute, I've come up with something new. The first one is I simply don't want to do this task right now, maybe later, but not now. I'm just not in the mood and I'd rather do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is I feel tired because I was very productive recently and I feel like I need to recharge. So this procrastination is something like a recharging, process.
Mm-hmm.
And last one is I feel kind of unprepared to perform this task because there are some things that are distracting me, like I'm hungry or my room is a mess. I need to clean my space, something like this.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Okay. Anybody else? Zoom, one more person. All right. I know that this is not talking about the university, right? So this is something a little bit personal. So of course we can move on. So, but anyway, we can add to this list. It's not only that we just don't want to do the task or it's challenging or something like that, but you can simply have these reasons like I'm not in the right mood to write now, or I need to wait for some inspiration, right? I can't find time right now. I need to finish something first. I need to clean my room first, right? I need another space, computer, desk, chair. I need to organize my things. Or I don't know how to do this task. I will better start with less significant but common assignment. The task is complicated. It's unclear. It's very boring. I will deal with it later. The deadline for the task is so far away. I have plenty of time. It's the exams are in March. Why should I care about them right now? I don't want to start because there is no huge reward waiting for me, right? So you might do something very insignificant. So yeah, these all reasons adding to this last one, just I don't see the point in doing anything. I will do it later. All right, yeah, it's okay. It works, no problem. All right, but anyway, before even judging or even talking about procrastination, we need to understand the causes of it. So there are highlights, like what causes procrastination. And we are going to talk about these 7 reasons. Of course, there are, you can just Google it and you will find maybe people are talking about 20 reasons, 20 causes. 1,100, no problem. But I really believe, at least in my mere opinion, is that there is like these are the 7 important reasons, or maybe significant reasons or causes that make us procrastinate. So the first one is perfectionism, avoidance, low self-esteem, waiting until the last minute, trouble focusing, decision fatigue, the resisting challenges. So let's talk about perfectionism, and which is something very, I think everybody right now just is known by I'm such a perfectionist. I would like to perfect this thing or that thing. The problem actually with doing so, or having this mindset, makes us polarized in terms of standards. So we see things as just in terms of good and bad. So for example, here, my performance is either great or terrible, or I am either smart or stupid. I'm either wrong or right. So the problem here is that we have no gray area. And this is actually problematic, is that it makes us either do the assignment or just embark on doing something, or embark on doing nothing. Because we have these high standards, high expectations, and we think that we are not going to receive them. So what I suggest is that let's scratch all of that. Let's just delete it, all right? And approach the work from a different perspective. And let's not say, I will do all or I will do nothing. No, let's do it. Let's say, I will do all or I will do something. So if you're not going to do everything in your perfect standards, at least you will do something in your perfect standards. All right. So this is simply the perfectionism. Of course, it could be good sometimes, but most of the time it holds us back of doing something important. So back to our causes. The second one is the avoidance. So the problem with avoidance is that we avoid to do many things. Simply, again, because we listed out that maybe they are boring, they are blah, don't want to do them, they are difficult, they are really problematic. And yeah, so what we need to do here is that we need to recognize the patterns of procrastinations. So we need to understand, when do we avoid? There is certain pattern you will notice in your performance, in your approach to doing tasks. And when this happens, recognize that. When you think that there is a task, for example, eating cake, you would love to eat cake, but you don't want to do it right now because you would like to avoid that. That's something would bring you pleasure, I think. Who doesn't love cake? Maybe some people, but still. If you avoid doing so, eating the cake, you always try to remember that this action you avoided once. And then second time, there is another cake in front of you, and you find yourself avoiding eating it, you understand that there is a pattern here. So sit down with yourself, think, reflect, and understand the pattern of why you are avoiding eating the cake. All right? Okay. Again, back to our causes. And we have the third one, which is having low self-esteem. This is something really serious. And that's something that most of us suffer from, simply because we ask ourselves all kinds of questions, doubting ourselves. And we ask some logical questions, some rational ones even, like, what if I misunderstand the problem? What if I misunderstand the speech, or I misunderstand this thing or that thing? For example, we say, what if I make a mistake while completing this task? What if I am not good enough in doing this thing? And actually, this is related to the perfectionism thing, right? We want to be very fully aware of everything around us. So perfectionism here could lead to low self-esteem, but this is another topic. It's not only about procrastination. So what I suggest is that we're not going to scratch that. It's very nice to doubt yourself, doubt your knowledge, doubt everything you know. No problem about this, because you need always to be in constant reflection, in constant questions with yourself, and also with your surroundings and the world in a bigger context. So we need to deal with that. No problem. We will make amends with that. We will make our peace with these questions. Okay, but what should we do more? Let's simply build a confidence. It's very important to build our confidence. And this doesn't happen just like that, okay, in a night. This happens when you understand what you are good at. Just let's list some things that you are very good at. I am good at cooking, for example. I am good at walking fast. I am good at talking with people. I'm good at this and this and that. So you can list these things, even if they are insignificant to you right now, but at least you will understand what you are good at. Not to relate it to the task that you are about to do, but it's related to yourself, because low self-esteem, it's a general problem. It's not low self-esteem in regard to this problem or this task or this assignment or that thing that I need to complete. No, low self-esteem here related to everything that you are a little bit not aware of what you are very good at. But at the same time, you need to identify your limitations. What does it mean? It means that, of course, there are some things you are not good at, but you are so. All right. Well, I'm not that good at, I don't know, mathematics at all. So I need to identify that. I need to know exactly what I am not good at. My limitation, when my limitation starts, okay, and where it ends. It could be anything. And we need to know that, because later when we have these questions, what if I make a mistake? It would be a predictable thing, not just something that it's in our mind that we cannot articulate well enough. And simply because we don't know what are our limitations. And the last thing is that we really need to surround ourselves with positive people. This is very crucial, because most of the time, if we are around toxic people, simply everything would appear to us very, very dark, very negative, unknown, unclear. We will always be in constant doubt. which is not good all the time, because we need to affirm some things. And the affirmation most of the time comes from positive people that are around us, when we are in this vicious loop of constant doubting in ourselves and asking what I should do. I don't think that I'm good enough here, or I can't do this thing, or something like that. So it's the last point is very, very important, simply because of the reasons I have just voiced out. All right, the fourth one, which is most of us, maybe it's our favorite, because it happens like that. So we wait until the last minute because we think and we say, I perform better under pressure. All right, which could be true. No problem. No doubt about that. Okay. So there are some people who actually perform better under pressure, but not the last minute, not 50 minutes before the deadline, or before you get this thing done. Or I will get around it. Don't worry. I will just find my way. All right. And most of the time we make such naive statements, again, because we have no clear knowledge of what we are good at and what are our limitations. We generalize what we can do and what we can't do, simply because we don't have this rational reflection on ourselves. And here is simply, I say, we're not going to make peace with that. We actually need to scratch it, and we need to adopt a different time management technique. Or not time management, even task management, project management. We need to break down tasks into smaller pieces. If you have a huge thing, just to break it down and reward yourself after you do one thing at a time. The other thing is that you can simply break down also the time dedicated to each task. So you are dealing with your time, you are negotiating with the task, and then you are taking this negotiation results, negotiating another one with your time. So this will give you a better understanding of what we can achieve and in what period. The next one is trouble focusing. And I think, of course, all of us have problems with this, right? So we don't know how to prioritize, how to plan, how to even stay on track. And I think the last one is the most important one, is that stay on track. We have the will, we have the intention actually to prioritize something or to start doing one thing. But the problem is that sometimes we have a huge problem staying on track. And that's due many things. And most of the time it's because of distractions. So what I suggest is that let's manage them. Use your phone, but in a useful way, right? So stay on the internet, no problem. But maybe you can set up don't disturb mode, all right? So that you don't receive all notifications that you really don't need. Sometimes when I'm having my phone, I have a notification like from Delivery Club. I don't need that, right? I don't need to know that there is a promo code, whatever, right now. I was doing this thing, but I heard my phone vibrating and I completely lost my attention. And I'm like, okay, I need to check my phone right now. I go to check my phone. I found notification, Delivery Club, promo code. I'm like, I didn't want to know that. Right? So you can simply use your phone in a different way. You can, of course, be online, no problem. But try to set up modes so that you can prioritize and focus your notifications on the important things. Okay, and I'm sure that you can do that with your phone. You can simply say, I want only notifications with that mode on from mom, from parent, from boyfriend, from girlfriend. anybody, only emails, only that thing, only calls, something like this. And try also to set up your surroundings. So place things in different, like your distractive things, you can simply place them in a different place where you are not sitting, because simply you can get distracted not only by your phone but by other things like TV. Don't sit in front of TV, and you will be like, maybe I can turn it on and just leave it in the background. I like it. Trust me, you will delve into watching, even if it's a boring thing. Try to schedule breaks. I find the 45 minutes system very rewarding. You can simply work on something for 45 minutes and then take a break. This scheduled breaks really help your brain. I'm not sure about the scientific scientific results, but at least in my case, it works very well. After 45 minutes, my brain knows that I will take a break, and then when I rest very well, and I become motivated to do the other thing because I'm waiting for the next break. And of course, try to rely more on technology in terms of these time management apps. Vitaly here is going to speak with you about that. Right. The next thing, decision fatigue. This happens because we either know a lot of things or we have too many options. We have option A, we have B, C, D. Well, I don't know what to do. Imagine yourself having, again, I'm just thinking about food. I don't know why, seriously, but imagine yourself ordering food on, again, Delivery Club or Yandex or Ida or whatever, and you will have a lot of options. And I don't know about you, but I waste around 1 hour only choosing a restaurant. Seriously, too many options. I don't know. Okay, even if I decided the dish I'm going to eat, there are too many restaurants, which doesn't help me. It makes me, of course, not decisive, and I lose a lot of time. I could simply use this 1 hour. You know what? Even if I'm going to watch a TV show, it would be better, really. And instead of just, oh my God, yeah, oh, maybe this restaurant, I need to check the menu. Okay, too many options again, and too many options lead to too many options and lead to other too many options. So it's a circle of these options. So what I suggest about that, this is just an example because we are all living in this situation, but this could happen in many other ways. When we don't know what to do, we have too many notifications, we have too many distractions, we have too many things, we don't know how to decide about them. So let's start with your phone. Take your phone and try to uninstall the apps that you really don't need. Okay, because these apps keep sending you notifications, and they make you decide something that you actually didn't want to decide before. It put you in a situation, and you are like, why I need to decide that right now? Really? Right? So try to reduce the number of apps that you have on your phone. It's always the less, the better. Try to understand what is the most useful things for you, the most important things. Just keep them, no problem. But try to get rid of these useless applications. The other thing also, make a habit of daily planning. Daily planning help us to have this mindset that we are on the top of our assignments, of our tasks. Simply this habit make us understand what we are going to decide on today and at that moment. because I plan to work on that thing right now. And I know that I'm going to decide between this and that. That's it. Of course, we need to prioritize our commitments. And Vital is going to be speaking about that, because this is a huge issue that we are facing right now. And also, please take an inventory of the people who are around you. Try to see who are the people who are toxic around you. Again, about surrounding yourself with positive people instead of toxic ones. Because when you are around non-positive people, you always have this doubt. You always have the many options. You always have the many useless notifications that you really don't need from time to time, if not always. And the last thing is resisting challenges. And this is something very fine. If you have it, it's okay. It's absolutely okay that you maybe resist a challenge. But also, it's not okay sometimes when we say, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like doing that thing. Or what if I fail? What if I just don't want to fail? I'm afraid of that, right? Or I will do it when the time is right. When the time will be right, we really don't know. So if you find yourself saying these things, try to scratch that, right? And let's search for the reason why you should be doing this thing. Okay, we have a task in front of us. We need to do it. No problem at all. And I know that I resisted challenging. Okay, I know that I don't feel like it. I know that I don't think that this is the right time. But let me be convinced. You simply ask yourself, why this thing is important? The thing that I don't want to do, why is important? All right. Okay, it's important because of this and this. And what would success in doing that look like? Okay, if I approached the task from that way, I could achieve these results. If I approach it from this way, I could achieve this or this. So here you are building scenarios, and in fact, you are already doing the task that you didn't feel like it, or you didn't think that the time was right. So, and simultaneously, you will have an understanding of what skills or experience you need to employ in order to go around the task, the challenge, so to say. So this is simply procrastination. Again, the 7 reasons. And so my question right now, before moving on to the next point, do you think that these reasons are relevant to you? What do you think?
Well, I feel like yes, for sure. In every aspect of this, I find myself actually, and I feel like these days there's a huge pressure on people. The word procrastination, the word productivity is everywhere, literally everywhere. You just check your social media, people everywhere doing something, working hard, going to the gym and waking up at 5 a.m. And sometimes this also can cause procrastination because you're like, I'm not good enough for something. And the most relatable, I feel like, is perfectionism to me. Yeah, and the waiting until the last minute. There are so many jokes and memes like, okay, I have 3 weeks to do this assignment. I will start, and the last day till the deadline. So yeah, I think this is relatable, and the reasons. What I found very useful is to think what doing this task will lead you to. Think of a success that it will bring you, the importance. If you think that this is important, you should do that. And you can picture the success, the result that this task will bring you. Then yes, it's vital. You should do that. If not, you can skip that.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, actually, you are very, very right on the spot here about this productivity on social media. Everybody, as if everybody's fighting who is the most productive person on earth. Seriously. And this, of course, causes a huge trouble. I'm like, I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. to be a cool person, especially when it's on Instagram already and people putting it as a story. You feel like, yeah, this is the coolest person on earth. I can't be like that. It's simply unachievable thing, right? But before we go here, Zoom, just a second. So anybody on Zoom?
Maybe my biggest problem is that I always receive messages from my friends, and it's important for me, so I sometimes forget about my tasks and just chatting with them, and it's not good. I understand this, and I'm trying to make the situation to, I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
Maybe to no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually a delicate matter when we speak with our friends and we don't know what to do. Like, they aren't stopping from talking. I'm like, I don't know. Could you guys please stop? We cannot say that. It's a delicate matter, right? It's very. Yeah, later.
Sometimes you want to say, please stop. I have some tasks that I must do today, but you are so happy when you are chatting with them, so you can't say this. And
yeah.
What should I do?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, and I think actually Vitaly is going to tell you what to do, especially in these cases. But yeah, okay, we'll go here.
Yeah, I want to say something. I don't know whether you mentioned this or not. Maybe I wasn't attentive, but there are also very useful techniques to not get disturbed, to limit your time on social media. There are special apps that, like for example, you set that you can only use. You can only use Instagram, for example, for an hour. Yeah, and when this hour passes, you simply are blocked from using Instagram till the next day. Like, it depends what you set in this app. So maybe it's also a possibility to try not to be distracted. But I've never used them. So I just know I prefer being distracted. No, but I know that some of my friends are using that, and it's actually quite successful. It actually, like, you learn a lot from that. Actually, you learn that you don't need to spend 8 hours on Instagram per day. That's what I wanted to add.
Thank you so much. All right. Anybody on Zoom? Anybody else? All right. Okay. So we will move on to the next point, which is, since we are here in Writing Lab, but we have here the problem of the writer's block. This is a very common issue if you are doing writing. And actually, I will ask you think about it after I will explain what is a writer's block in a few seconds. But think about it, that it's not only the writer's block. It could be a person's block. We will see right now the symptoms. or the causes and what we can do. And you will find yourself in a situation that this problem is not only regarding writing, it could be related to any task, related to any activity that we would like to do or we have to do. So simply the writer's block happens, or at least you understand that you have it, that you are facing right now a writer's block when you stare simply, I don't know, at Word. You turn it on your computer and you are like, okay, I'm gonna start, but for some reason you are staring at the screen. You don't know what to do. Or maybe the minutes feel like hours. Okay, I'm staring. Okay, I will start writing something. I'll start doing something. And you look at your watch and I'm like, that's only 2 minutes? I thought that I spent already half an hour. All right. You have a very strong emotions, and this could not only be like you are afraid of the task, you are intimidated by it, or maybe you are, I don't know, you are bored, very, very bored. No, it could be also about excitement. You are very excited to do this thing, but at the end of the day, you feel like, okay, I'm excited. I love it. I would do everything, but I don't know where to start, right? Or there is inability to compose new things. And this is irritating because you think that there is something wrong with you. And there is a creative slowdown in problem solving, in approaching the task, in starting writing, in everything that you are doing. You feel like there is a slowdown of your creativity here. And the last thing is that here regarding the writer's block is that words do not come out. This happens with me actually personally every time I'm about to start anything, any kinds of essays. I always turn on my laptop. I go to Microsoft Word, and I have a huge problem writing the first word. I feel that, okay, I know my topic, I know everything, I know what I'm going to discuss, but there is this creative slowdown that I can't start the first sentence. All right. And usually this happens because of distractions. Again, we are facing with the same problem everywhere. And I think this is the 21st century problem, or not the 21st century, maybe even the future, but still. Maybe you are sick. Simply when you have a flu, or you have any kind of sickness that makes you feel weak. You really sometimes you don't know how to focus and be attentive and up to the task. So this is a very justified reason. Or you are procrastinating, and we talked about that. And also intimidation. You are very intimidated by the task, by the thing that you are about to do, or even the results. And that could be perfectionism, and that could be a low self-esteem, that could be avoidance, that could be resisting challenges, that could be many things. It's not only intimidated that you are really afraid of doing that, or the teacher, or the person, your boss, or whoever. But this problem is not just unsolvable or incurable. No, there is actually some things that we can do so that we solve that. So let's start with the first, is that we need to shift outlets. So instead of doing the thing that you are about to do, and you felt that there is something is gonna happen right now, you are going to have this creative slowdown, you are going to lose your attention, you are going to feel hours instead of minutes and stuff like that. No, try to do something else. But don't go and do this thing for the rest of the day. Just still, like, you are still attached to what you are doing, but you are just shifting back and forth. No problem. Let's do this one, especially when it comes to writing. Do this 5 minutes prompts. So try to sit down for 5 minutes and do the thing. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes, write or do the thing that you are about to do, and go somewhere and come back. 5 minutes. Go and come back. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And that will lead you to the something that we're going to discuss later, right now, which is to fake it until you make it. 5 minutes. But you are actually, we understand that you are doing 5 minutes and then resting for 5, or maybe 5 and then resting for 10 minutes or doing something else. But these things are actually approaching you or getting you to achieve your goal without realizing that you are actually doing that. And the most important one, while doing these 5 minutes prompts or these 5 minutes activity, you really need to give yourself permission to write badly, to do stuff not in a perfect way, to just be normal, be like, I mean, not be normal in a sense that you are weird or anything, but there is nothing wrong with being strange or weird, but you really need to give the permission for yourself to just do stuff, to do imperfect stuff, so that later you can perfect them if you want to. And the last point is that you really need to get real about your process. If you know that you are going to be distracted by that thing, know this. Why? Because later, when you start doing something and then you stop because of something else happened, and then you don't come back to completing the task or the activity that you were working on, you will really feel so bad. You will feel so guilty. Another situation. Let's say that you really suck at playing tennis, and for some reason you decided to play a match against another person. And then you went to you didn't know that you suck at tennis. You thought that you are amazing. You were not simply real about your process. You think that having 3 classes of tennis, now you are amazing. And then you go to the match, and then what happens is that you lose. And then you feel so guilty. You feel like you are the one, it's your mistake. Right? Another example. Really, a very, very usual one. You say, I will do that thing in 20 minutes because I will get around it. I perform well under pressure. And then 21 minutes passes. And you're like, oh, I didn't complete my task. You know what will happen? You will feel now intimidated that this thing took more than you actually anticipated, because simply you were not real about your process. You either overestimate things or underestimate things. And this gray area, you don't know where it is. And you don't have to find it. You just need to get real about what you are doing and your process, simply because because we simply perform differently from one another. And this thing about productivity hype and the culture that is going on right now Everybody's posting stuff, heroes. All right. Sometimes actually it's even very, very it can be very bizarre when people publish their schedules, and you only find in the schedule like working out, finishing that book, learning this, achieving world championship in whatever. Seriously, and you never find anything normal. Like you find it's a very bizarre thing. And the problem is that you think of yourself, or you have a very overestimation of things because of these things. So there is a huge, there is also many factors are taking place when you start doing anything. All right. So actually on that part, I will finish my speech and our talk about writer's block and also procrastination. And now I will just give the floor to Vitaly, who is going to introduce to you a task, but not now, but he will simply start talking about time management and why is it very important and how can we manage our time. So yeah, Vitaly. Works? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hello everyone. Can I have the
Yeah.
clicker?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what really matters is time management. You gotta understand that, well, time is basically your asset. It's the resource that you invest into something to get even more benefits. And it's crucial to actually invest it efficiently, because it kind of determines your future success. So how do we invest it efficiently? Well, first you need to have a goal. Well, for example, I need to stop procrastinating and actually improve my writing, for example. And then you commit to this goal. You say, I will write every day for 30 minutes, well, something, just free writing exercises, for example. And just stay consistent, because sometimes when you start writing, well, one day passes, another day passes, and for the third day, you're like, well, yeah, I'm tired. I may not do it now. Well, yeah, stop finding excuses. Then you need to create priorities and artificial deadlines. So, for example, you have this essay that is due in 2 weeks, and you say, well, 2 weeks, it's kind of, well, it's far away. I kind of have, I will have a lot of time to do it, right? And then you end up kind of pulling up all-nighters, and, well, your work is far from amazing, right? And so you need to prioritize. Well, for example, if you still have some free time, you may start doing this exercise now. Well, not exercise, but like your essay, right? For instance, you may just create, you may write your first paragraph, introduction, or you may create an outline, just like a plan with bullet points of what you're going to write. And say you create an artificial deadline. So, for instance, I will have my first draft of this essay in like 1 week before the deadline. And actually, first drafts are actually a huge deal, because you basically accomplish a lot of the work before you actually come to this draft. And so basically what you're left to do is, well, just minimal effort to actually finalize your essay and submit it. Then, as usually people say, time is money. And so this analogy actually goes even further. You can actually economize time. So look at your life, find some habits that take too much time and try to optimize it. Well, for instance, as on the slide, it's like food preparation is where you can save. You can actually, if you commute to your school or to university by bus, you may actually use this time to do something productive. Well, for instance, you may listen to some educational podcasts, or if you're lucky to have a seat in a bus, well, you can actually pull up a book and, well, educate yourself. Well, it's way more efficient, right? And then you need to be assertive when it comes to your goals and priorities. So here's what we've talked about before. Like, if your friends are calling you, like, hey, let's go to a party. Well, if it concerns your goals and priorities, you need to kind of defend them, right? You need to say, I cannot go there. Sorry, I have some important stuff to do. Yeah, and just don't overthink of what they may think about it. It's like, oh, you don't go to parties. Well, you need to kind of think forward whether going to like one evening party is worth this huge assignment that is going to affect your future, right? Okay, so here's another fruit for thought. It's actually a technique called Pomodoro Technique. Have you heard of it? Yes? No? Zoom people? Okay, so in a nutshell, it's a time management technique that... Is everything right? Okay, so basically it consists of like 5 steps. First, you need to choose a task that you'd like to get done. Well, for instance, again, writing an essay, for example. Then you set a timer for 25 minutes and you work on this task for this 25 minutes. You eliminate all of the distractions. You put away your phone. You close all the social media tabs on your laptop or computer. And when the moment we've all been waiting for, when the timer rings, you can do whatever you want for 5 minutes. Just go check on your social media, whatever you wanted to do, right? Do some physical exercises, very efficient, actually. It makes your blood flow to your brain again. And, well, then repeat, right? And every 2 hours, approximately 4 intervals of this Pomodoro technique, take longer breaks for 20, 30 minutes because, well, your organism needs to kind of restore your energy. Why you should try this Pomodoro technique? Well, firstly, it improves your concentration during the work. As you may know, our concentration span is very limited. And, well, you may have experienced it when you sat down for a long time to accomplish some task, right? Without breaks, and you feel like exhausted after some time and you can't go on and so on. Yeah, so basically here you concentrate for 25 minutes and then you restore this kind of capacity to concentrate. Then simplification of the complex tasks. Well, basically here you chunk your time. You divide your work into time slots, and you may even divide your work according to these time slots. So basically, let's say I have to write a review essay on an article. So for the first 25 minutes, I will kind of look through the article, write down some key ideas, and well, make some notes, right? For the next 25 minutes, like after a break, of course, I'm going to create an outline of my essay, organize my thoughts, and so on. And so for the next 2 intervals, approximately, I may finalize, like I will write an essay and finalize it and so on. And so I will get the work done by doing this like in simple steps. And understanding of the effort the task will have, as what we have already touched upon. So basically, you kind of evaluate how much time and effort is needed for each task. Well, yeah, we've touched upon it. Okay, so Eisenhower Metrics is another very efficient way to actually manage your time. So anyone heard about it? No? That's great. No? Okay, no Zoom. So basically it consists of like 4 blocks, there are 2 axes, like, it's like X and Y, right? And so here's like importance and urgency. So the first block is important and urgent. Well, and so on. It's like, well, you create your analogy, right? But so I have a question. What would you do first, like an urgent task or an important task?
Well, can I?
Okay.
Well, I would do an urgent task because it's urgent. It cannot wait.
Okay.
I have to agree on this one. Yeah. I would do the urgent one because, yeah, I know that it will cause some issues if I will not accomplish this task. But the important one, it's kind of inconsistent because you think that important one is more important, but the urgent one could not wait for me.
But what if it's like not important but urgent? What if it's not important but still urgent? Will you still do it?
That's interesting because there's the difference. Well, I think of school when we, think of important and urgent tasks. For example, if we have an urgent task on math, which I hate simply, and I would rather to do my English or literature task because it's important to me. But math is urgent, whatever, it can wait.
Okay, Zoom people.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to do first of all important and urgent, and after that I would do urgent important. It's a very often situation for me when I'm doing things that are not very important, for example home task and so on. I mean not subjects which I'm interested in, but subjects that I want to have where I want to have. I think I is it okay now?
Yeah, no better.
Okay, so where I stopped, I was saying about school homework tasks that are not important, especially for me. For example, I'm not interested in this subject, but I want to have good marks, and if I want good marks, I have to do before it's Wednesday, for example. So I'll important and urgent task first of all, then urgent but not important, and then I'll do
Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. Okay, so the next question. What do you think can be written in all these blocks? What kind of tasks, actually?
Well, I think some household chores, for example.
Where?
Yeah. Where I'd say important but not urgent. When there is a sink full of dishes and you feel pressure because your mom is tired from working, but you also have, I don't know, an assignment to finish. It's important to help your mom, but it's not urgent and you've got an assignment to do. So that's what I would say.
Okay.
Have stupid example, but I think it will also work. So, for example, what to do when you need to do nails, right? It's urgent but not important in some cases. Yeah, so I would fit the orange now. So we have two left.
Okay. Zoom people? No? No? Okay. So yeah, in urgent and important. You have deadlines, you have problems that actually need to be solved right here, right now. Okay. About this, not urgent but important. Well, here you actually put some long-term goals. For example, to exercise, right? If you want a six-pack or something, you put it here. And then not important but urgent. Well, yeah, you were right. Here goes the nails. So there are some emails, some errands, and I would actually put doing the dishes here as well, because like it's urgent in the sense that, well, at the end of the day, the dishes need to be made, right? Need to be washed. But well, it's not important because you have some deadlines, right? And well, not important, not urgent are your pleasure activities and well, time wasters, like, I don't know, watch another episode of Squid Game or something. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for the Eisenhower metrics, I guess. Now, life hacks. So basically, here's a list of some applications that may help you organize your time more efficiently and maybe organize your even group work in some sense. So Trello, well, it keeps everything organized. There are some like to-do lists, some stuff that you may organize, like, well, I have done this is in progress, and this needs to be done. Then there's Toggle. Well, another efficient app. It's also like for remote working, time tracking, project planning. Then To-Do. Well, yeah. So there are a lot of actually to-do apps. And if you don't really like having it in technology, in app, you may actually write it down with a list, with the boxes to tick, but make sure to actually tick and cross out everything at the end of the day. IKE, to-do list. Well, actually, IKE is the app for Eisenhower Metrics, because it actually creates a to-do list within these kind of blocks that I showed you. And there's Notion. I think this is the application of all applications, actually, because it's now used like everywhere. And I've noticed it like all the students are now using it and writing some notes there for classes and yeah, doing some to-do lists and so on. So yeah, this is the thing. Have you taken a picture of it? By the way, do you guys use any of it right now? Okay. So I guess it's time for exercise, right? So you help Sam plan his day. So Sam is a bad boy. He has procrastinated up till the last day, and now he has lots of tasks to do. So your task is to create a schedule for Sam for one day so that he manages to accomplish everything. But be realistic. Well, keep in mind that he's a person, he's a living human being, right? And he needs some time for meals and rest to kind of avoid this burning out. And you may also plan his leisure time, his rest. For example, he may do something, some reward, some motivation that was for the previous task that he accomplished. And so here's the list of tasks. So write a 500-word essay, solve a practice YEGE test, prepare a 10-slide presentation, tidy up his room, take a dog for a walk, and work out. So yeah, you have like 7 minutes. Yeah.
I have a question. Do we have to write down some daily, daily things like wake up, exercise or brush your teeth? Does that consider,
Well, you may, right?
Okay. Then it'd be more hard.
Okay, so guys, I think you should have finished by now. So anyone wants to share their schedule?
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. That's not really real schedule, but in general, just some points. I think that it would be better to take a dog for a walk in the morning, because you will take some physical activity and just refreshing your mind in the morning, and then you will have, or Sam will have more energy to do everything he had planned. Then it would be better to begin writing an essay, and he could do this not just in 2 or 3 hours without any breaks, but for example, with using Pomodoro Technique, he can in first 25 minutes just think about the plan of the essay, or some or do some research work for it, and then just separate the work in in some parts and do them through the day, because when you write an essay, you can stop, and while you're doing other things you may think about something, or some ideas will come to your mind. Well, then he could solve a practice-get test, and just to do this in 3 or 4 hours. That's as this task should be done without any breaks, I think. And then he could take a little bit of rest, just have lunch or something, and then come back to the essay, think about it something for some time, and then prepare a presentation on physics, and then come back to the essay and finish it. In the evening, he could work out, maybe, as if he do it early, he could get too tired, maybe. And I've forgotten about tidying up his room. He could do it early in the morning, when if he can't work in a mess, or if he can concentrate in such atmosphere. He could do it in the middle of the day, I think. For example, after lunch. That's just my ideas.
Okay. And Could you yourself lead through the day according to the schedule?
You mean in that's a
Or
kind
just-
of schedule, or
well, yeah, if you were Sam and you had the schedule, could you leave it like that?
maybe I'll do some. I'll change some points and add the time for little breaks or meals, but maybe in general I'll do it like that.
Okay, good point. Okay.
Yeah. So because of time.
Yeah, it's gonna be fast.
Yeah, sure.
I've written based on basically my routine, what I would do. As you asked the previous person, could she live through this day? I would say, I would answer in advance, yes, I would. So starting with morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Morning routine, breakfast, brushing his teeth, because you have to take 1 hour in the morning just for yourself, to simply be active and have the energy for the day. From 9:20 to 11:20, I have writing an essay and doing breaks using Pomodoro Technique. Because what I've heard from experts, it's you have to do the hardest thing first in the morning. So I consider this the hardest because you have to think of many words, opinions. Essays are not easy. And then I have from 11:30 to 1:50 ego practice, also with breaks. I know it would be hard doing this one hard thing after the other, but I feel like if you're focused on writing, on thinking, you might get into the process and then continue doing that without any, hesitation or something. Then I have lunch from 1:50 to 10. Yeah, lunch. You have to eat to, be energetic. Then I have from 2:10 to 3:10, takes 1 hour, tidying up his room. I consider this also as a kind of a break, as a physical activity, because when you're avoiding writing and just sitting, you're just walking around your room doing something, it might be a good refreshment or something. Then I have a presentation on physics from 3:10 to 4:10, takes also 1 hour. You had lunch, you had your, you were tidying up your room. Now you can sit and focus. Then I have walking his dog from 4:20 to 4:50. Also, walking, fresh air, getting some fresh air also can cause some, it can bring some motivation again. It can bring your focus. Then I have time with his family from 4:50 to 5:20 because he's been working hard. He needs to talk. He needs to speak. To share some ideas, because talking to your family members might be also a refreshment. Then I have working out from 5:30 to 6:30. It's again, I relate to this schedule because working out for me works better in the evening. Don't know how it works, but yeah. And then I have from 6:30 to 8 time for revising everything he has, been learning through this day. And then I have from 8 to 9 preparing for bed. Yeah, something like this.
Amazing.
Excellent.
So yeah.
All right. Yeah. So there is a reason behind everything, right? Yeah. Excellent. So yeah. So of course, we thank all of you who came today, of course, and joined us, and of course, a special thanks to Vitaly for such amazing introducing us to such amazing techniques on how to manage our time. And just to wrap up, so we started off by mentioning the procrastination, the reasons, causes, all of that, because we really need to understand our situation. And then we continued moving on to things that we encounter, and because we are limited a little bit in our knowledge, we cannot articulate these things that we are feeling, we are facing, we are simply having trouble with. And then we moved on to what really matters, like the time management. But please remember, like Sam here has to do many things, right? Remember always that behind each activity there is a story, and this story you really need to get on the top of it, right? We were mentioning and emphasizing the points of distractions, because this is what makes us lose the control. And when this happens, here comes the feeling of guilt, the feeling of pressure, the stress, and so on and so forth. And of course, in some cases, that would have severe consequences. So we really hope that you would use the knowledge you have got today and into implementing them. But remember that there is no prescription that, oh my God, Pomodoro Technique, I'll just use it, all my problems are going to go away. No, you need to learn about yourself, and you need to understand what works for you simply the best. Sometimes Pomodoro technique would work for one person, another would not, right? And this is absolutely okay, all right? So keep experimenting, keep trying, keep reflecting, because this is how you are going to understand what works for you and what doesn't. And that would help you understand also in what way you need to move on. All right. So this was the first workshop in our writing lab. Next workshop is going to be, of course, next week on note-taking strategies and reading strategies. And anyway, it's a learning strategies workshop. But before that, before the writing lab session, we are going to have another meeting in SAS Goes Live that we started on Saturday, and we are going to have a discussion on online education, simply online learning, or university education, to come and have the in-person education mode. That would be on Saturday at 6 p.m. We are going to have a discussion, not just me or Vitaly or anybody talking alone. No, we will have a discussion, and that would happen between two students and one professor. And so the two students are senior students because they have got a little bit more experience. And our professor is Daniel Kantowski, who is also the associate director for education. So Daniel has got a huge experience in education, and as well, he experienced online teaching, learning, and of course, administrating. And our students experience online learning because of COVID. And of course, they experience the normal mode of education. So I think we would have a lovely discussion about this question of online or offline, and we will see what comes out of that. So I will see you, and we will see you on Saturday at 6 p.m. here at SAS or via Zoom as usual. And we are making our way through this hybrid mode. So yeah, thank you so much for coming in today, and see you, of course, on Saturday. Thank you.